I just want to start off by apologising. The title accidentally turned out clickbait. I wrote basically the majority of this script before I even started recording any of the footage, and to be honest, I am shocked at how well this game is sort of held onto its player base. At any given time, this 16-year-old, originally 2D browser-based zombie game held a consistent 6,000 plus players online. So let's talk about what I would call a criminally underrated MMO that no one is seemingly playing or talking about, Dead Frontier. To be more specific, Dead Frontier 1, as there is a true 3D game on Steam known as Dead Frontier 2. But we won't be talking about that game in this video at all. Happy Halloween, sit back, relax, and enjoy this deep dive into a game I've played on and off for well over a decade. Dead Frontier is a free-to-play, part browser-based, part standalone client, top-down zombie MMORPG. It was originally released on the 21st of April 2008 by a man named Neil Yates. I have no idea if this was another sort of solo dev venture, as there's very little information on their Wikipedia about the development. Anything else you need, the wiki is outstanding. I've never looked up builds for this game, I've just kind of gone and done my own thing. But for this new account, I decided I want to go all out and make the best character I can. So after looking online for a good while, every post I found just linked me back to the wiki. And on the wiki, there are several builds that you can follow, and I decided to follow one for rifles and grenade launchers, which seemingly is the most meta option right now for new players. While the gameplay is fairly basic, what we have works really well. For the most part, you'll be wandering around the streets of this massive city known as, well, Inner City. We have a little bit of character creation, but the most important thing is your starting class. There are a lot of choices to pick. All of them offer slightly different stuff. You get various starting stats, gear, money, and some of them offer skills to sell your services to other players. Things like cooking food, applying healing items, or repairing armor. Universally though, it seems the RP classes are the most recommended choice, meaning role-playing. Things like lawyer, stockbroker, and my choice, student. Student comes with a slightly less XP bonus, but all the RP classes come with around a 30% increase to XP earned. There is the occasional class like soldier, which comes with his own gun and increased stats at the cost of I think 20% XP reduction. I don't know what or if there is a level cap, but so far I've seen a few players that are just over the level 400. While wandering the streets, you'll find question marks over cars, bins, and corpses. These are your lootables. By holding F or E, you'll slowly fill up a bar, and if you get lucky, you'll see a pop-up window showing you the loot you found. Here's where things get quite interesting though. Looting, opening up your map, opening up your inventory, or simply pausing, yes that's right, we have found the online game you can pause. Any of these actions will actually set your character to be marked as AFK, meaning you cannot be targeted by zombies. I would say that you could abuse this quite well, but it's not abuse. That's exactly how they intended you to use the system. In between loot spots, you'll be surrounded by hordes of the undead. Well, eventually you will. The early game is incredibly tame, but as you'll see later in this video, it doesn't always stay that way. You'll need to fight your way through these hordes with whatever you can find. We've got melee weapons that range from a plank to a chainsaw. We have pistols, assault rifles, miniguns, shotguns, sniper rifles, crossbows, and even grenade launchers. Like I said earlier, I went with rifles and grenade launchers on this character, and it feels really good. Grenade launchers clear out hordes of zombies with ease, whereas the sniper rifle helps deal with the pesky bosses. Yes, that's right, we've got bosses. Not just bosses though, we have an array of special infected. There are so many kinds of special infected that even I'm actually surprised by it. I was looking through the wiki to get information for this video. Half of the list I have never seen them. We do have the stereotypical options here though. We've got screamers, boomers, spitters, and they all come in various forms. You've got burning, you've got blacked out, you've got volatile I think, the green versions. And I would love to go deeper into this, but to get deeper into the actual game takes a lot of levels, and levels takes a long time. Even with all the events going on right now, increasing the XP that I earn significantly, especially with the overpowered Halloween bosses that are spawning all over the place, I'm still at only around level 40 right now. So how do you level up and what does it do? You'd think earning XP is the same as every basic system we've got in basically every other RPG in the world, and for the most part it is. Questing and killing zombies, that's how you level up. But where it differs is the XP you earn from the zombies. It's not actually from killing the zombies, it's simply from damaging the zombies, which is actually, in my opinion, a better system. Because if you're being chased by a huge horde which contains several boss zombies, even if you don't end up getting the kills and you end up dying, you will have earned a significant amount of XP from just causing all that damage. Questing, on the other hand, I believe needs to be reworked. There are various outposts dotted all over the map. They all are in their own sort of coloured zone, and the colour represents the sort of level of difficulty. Higher the difficulty level, harder the quest, more experience. My problem with this system is there's no building a town that relates to quests. So let's go over towns really quick so you can make sense of that. The outposts or towns, they are incredibly useful. We've got an arena, which I believe is the only PvP area in the game, but I don't know about that one. We've got a bank to store your money, which is very, very important that you do this, as if you die, any money on your character is actually lost on death. Something I found out the hard way. Whoops. We've got a crafting area. We have a player-to-player marketplace, we have an NPC vendor, and we have something called the yard, which is essentially the area I was going to most in the game to dismantle loot for money. The other thing we have is some really cool social features I really liked. There is basically like this built-in forum section, and I just think because you have a fairly small community, I would still say 6,000 is fairly small. It's actually not that bad at all. It's actually alarmingly good, but it's not huge. But this implementation of the forum in every single outpost just makes that small community feel so close and cozy, and it feels great. And for the most part, I barely came across like any negative posts on the forums. The fans of this game are just really enjoy the game and are really nice to each other, and it just felt really nice, and I almost wanted to stick around in this game for longer and get to know more people maybe. Speaking of social stuff, there are clans, but I don't know what they do. I've never been part of a clan. I don't even know how to find a clan. I don't know what clans are. But as you can see, what we're missing is quests. And why is that? Well, that's because the way that quests work in this game is you can only accept 2 quests per day per outpost. You also don't get a choice on what the quests are. They simply pop up when you first visit the outpost. But the problem is, they're great. They're usually very basic. Go to a location, kill a specific zombie. I had to kill 15 police zombies for one of my quests. Sometimes it's to go kill a boss, or sometimes it's to loot some trucks for supplies. The great thing is they reward you with a huge chunk of experience, which is why I wish I could maybe grab several of these in one go off a quest board, go out on a long adventure, come back in several levels and repeat. In fact, I don't see any harm in that sort of system being in this game when your game is about 16 years old. I think especially if you've got people that are over level 400, a way for newer players to get more into the game and try catch up would be to rework the quest system so you could really level up a lot faster. And with this, we're going to go on to the couple, and I do mean a couple of things in the game that I don't actually like. Number one is looting. As you get to a high level and you unlock more inventory spaces, it's not as bad. But early on you have very small inventory spaces and it fills up really quickly. And this is more so because nothing stacks. I don't know if the crafting part of the game is relatively new, or if maybe they just allowed every sort of starting class to use it now, or if I just really missed out on a really great system. But I've started to use the crafting feature and it's brilliant. Except for the materials needed for crafting, it's either scrap metal of various rarities or scrap cloth of various rarities, but the cloth and the metal don't stack. There is storage in town, but you only get 5 slots. And again, I don't know if this is a new change or it's always like this, but all outposts are now connected. The marketplace seems to be all the same, bank is the same, the storage is the same. So you have 5 slots. You can buy more for 25,000. I guess that's probably not a lot of money when you're further into the game, but 25,000 is quite a lot. So I think that crafting materials, you should be allowed to stack them up to 5 or maybe even 10. I also don't like that the game sort of stores your inputs. If you click to shoot but you're busy reloading, the second you're finished reloading, you shoot. It's a small thing, I know, but I don't like it. And then just lastly is I don't really like how the aggro system works. I will hold my hand up and be honest, I think this is probably a skill issue. I think it's something you get very used to and you probably get the hang of it with enough playtime. But as a new, or in my case returning player, and admittedly I'm probably using like the loudest weapons in the game, I cannot get a horde to calm down after it's begun. I will have poured a few bosses, I would have killed the bosses, and I just want to loot the bosses. But I can't do that because I have 50 zombies on me at all times, and even as I'm killing them, more and more are coming in. It feels like an endless cycle of basically circling and blowing up these zombies trying to get my loot. It does look like they've sort of tried to fix this system, as now when you're looting a corpse, if you step away from a little bit, your looting bar actually slowly goes down now. So if you're back on it quick enough, you can actually slowly build this bar up. Otherwise, that's probably all of my cons. There is tons in this game that I would love to see more developed and improved, but I really like what there is here. I just want more to do. I know a lot of you will be looking at the combat, seeing me circling these hordes of zombies, not getting hit, and you're probably thinking it's a very basic and very easy combat system with no skill to it. And you're partially right. It is a very basic combat system, but you'd be wrong to think there's no skill involved and that it's incredibly easy. Top left you can see an energy bar. This is how long your character can sprint for. When you're circling zombies you can't just hold sprint or eventually you will get caught. The trick is to actually let the zombies get close enough that they try to attack you. And all you do is you simply tap your sprint button to get out of the damaging zone while maintaining your energy bar as best you can. If you do this perfectly, you will always have 100% energy. As you can see by mine, I'm not doing it perfectly. I'm going to be honest, this is the first time I've ever played a non-strength based character. Each stat affects your character one way or another. Strength lets you wear bigger armor, but it also gives you bigger weapons. You need a high strength to use weapons like the chainsaw or miniguns, and I always went down that route. Always went for the bigger melee weapons, for silent kills, and I went for the miniguns because they're miniguns. At the moment, thanks to this event, ammo is stupidly plentiful. But whenever I played the game, I could never find enough ammo to actually maintain my guns, and money was not easy to come by. Thus, I went melee. It's silent, so that feeds back into the aggro system we talked about before. No noise, no giant hordes swarming you. Well, except for the ones that randomly spawn in. That can be quite scary, especially if you're inside a building. Chainsaws, however, not silent. They generate a ton of aggro. But like I said earlier, this character followed a more meta build, so I maxed out agility first. Agility increases your character's movement speed, though even at max I feel painfully slow as the map is massive. It takes forever to get anywhere. I have no idea how some of these players zoom by so fast. But this high agility is probably what allows me to do the whole looping of zombies so easily. Endurance is your maximum health, so a few points in that is always very useful. Dexterity apparently increases your fire rate, and stealth decreases how easily zombies detect you. Critical hit, accuracy, and reloading are all self-explanatory. On the other side of the board is weapon masteries. It basically allows you to use higher tier weapons in that category. Oh, and here's another thing that I did in this character I've never done before. Honestly, I swear these weren't a thing when I last played. So first of all, bags. These can increase your carry capacity a small bit. Sadly, along with everything else in this game, they are stupidly expensive. There must be a better way to make money that I've just not discovered yet. We also have something called implants, and thanks to the Halloween event, I've got a few of these that all increase the amount of ammo and money that I find. And considering I am selling every bit of ammo that I find, this is basically giving me more money and more money. Selling ammo so far is my best way of making money, but even that is not enough to afford any of the good implants. These implants seem to vary drastically on what they can do. Some of them provide stats, some of them provide extra XP, some can basically let you find more money and more loot, and I think some can even reduce the damage that you take. But like I said, like bags, they're really expensive. This was only supposed to be a short video, so I'm going to wrap this up with my favourite feature that I saved till last. This is something that in my opinion they desperately need to expand on, but I hinted about this subtly earlier, but you can enter buildings. Entering a building turns into its own little instance. There could be several floors, there could be several entrances, but a lot of loot and a lot of zombies. Maybe to newer players this isn't a huge deal, but I actually remember the update that allowed this to be possible. Not only can you enter buildings, but you can actually board them up using hammers, wood and nails. Once you've fully boarded up a building, you can actually turn it into your own little outpost. This is only temporary though, and you can't really do much with it, but you can at least level up here. I forgot to mention, when your XP bar fills up, you actually have to go back to town to level up. You can stay out and keep earning XP, and eventually you can go back to town and earn several levels in one go, which is great because leveling up actually fully restores your health and hunger. Yeah, we have hunger in this game too. In my entire time playing for this video, I didn't actually have to eat once, so any food I picked up, I just immediately ate. Same with meds, I never carried around any meds or food, so that way we carry more ammo for money. Leveling up, however, does not repair your armor, so keep an eye on that because you'll occasionally have to pay someone on the marketplace to use their engineering services to repair your armor. Here's what I would do. Have a way to turn a temporary outpost into a permanent one. Make it a clan feature if needed. The map is huge, especially for newer players. It takes too long to get to the newer outposts. Since bigger buildings have more doors to barricade up, I'd make it more expensive depending on the building size, but also give it more access to different upgrade paths. I'd have it so you have to have a minimum distance between you and any other player outpost, as well as any of the main outposts already in game. It would have to be expensive and difficult to maintain, but the benefits could be that maybe clans could give out quests for players. Perhaps you can even use craftable items to force an outpost invasion. That's another feature, by the way. Occasionally you'll hear these air raid sirens, and that means the outpost you're in is under attack by zombies. If you go out to the inner city now, it will reveal a massive horde of zombies attacking the outpost. During this time, kills count towards the event, and when the event ends you get a huge chunk of XP. Honestly, it's super fun. Now imagine a way where every few hours, clans could force these invasions to happen. Maybe they could even coordinate through the forums to say, hey, come to this outpost at this time, we're going to force an outpost invasion, and everyone can get a ton of XP out of it. And maybe some drops or something. You don't currently get drops from outpost invasions, maybe you should. Anyway, that'll finish this video off. I'm sure there's tons of stuff that I didn't cover, but what can you expect when the game is 16 years old and still being updated? I truly love this game. I come back every few months to every few years just to create a new character and see what's changed, experience the game all over again. But I will say it'd be nice to see new content, a better quester system, and like I said, do something big with the outpost. It's a really cool system that needs to be expanded on. I've always wanted a zombie game where players can take over old buildings and slowly turn them into a formidable outpost essentially. Sort of like Project Zomboid, I suppose. I'd also like to see them speed up the early game considerably. Like I said, it's an old game now, players are reaching over 400 levels. I feel like it's only fair that newer players maybe have a chance to get more into the action a bit quicker. But as always though, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, thank you for listening, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye bye.